Good morning. It's Wednesday morning. It's bright and early. Uh, haven't been able to make very many videos in the last week or so, and but I am sitting and just kind of pondering some stuff this morning. I've been asked to do a little devotional at the motocross races. Our first race is in Texas, and we leave out this evening for it, and I'm going to be doing this Friday night. And so I've been kind of pondering and studying on that. And believe it or not, because I make these videos quite often, people might think I'm kind of comfortable talking in front of people, and I'm not. I get a lot of anxiety even thinking about it, and I normally don't do it. It's really comfortable for me to sit in my kitchen and do these videos because it's just me here, and it's just an extension of what I do every day. I seek the Lord. I familiarize myself with His Word. I'm working on being changed day by day. I'm definitely not the man I used to be 10 years ago, even 20 years ago. And I need to start reflecting on that more, and sometimes not the one thing that seems to be tripping me up or whatever. I tend to focus on that so much, when we have an issue going on in our life. And I don't stop and look at how much change has occurred, how different I am. Sometimes I can't see that can't see the 100 victories for the one failure. Maybe you need to do that too, just stop and look at the victories, all the past victories. And if the Lord's brought you through those, the one failure that's facing you right now, the one mountain, His Word says that He's going to bring us through it, that He died that we can overcome every type of sin. That's the thing I keep praying back to the Father. His Word says that, and I know He's faithful. I know He's true. So if He's brought me through many other things, He's going to bring me through the thing you're facing now, Where I'm reading from is in John. I'm in John 14, and I thought, let's just read John 14 together. It'd be a wonderful devotional this morning. There's some really good promises from Jesus in here. And these are for us. These are no different as He was speaking to His disciples then. He's speaking to His disciples now. And He even tells what His promises of Him going away then were. And who His disciples will be, what it means to be a disciple of His from His standpoint. He says, don't let your hearts be troubled. Now, He's already declaring that He is fixing to go to the cross. I mean, almost immediately as He's saying this, He's saying that this is fixing to happen. And He's telling His disciples, don't let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God and trust also in me. There's more than enough room in my Father's home. If this were not so, I would have told you, and I'm going to prepare a place for you. When everything is ready, I will come and get you, so that you will be with me where I am always. And you know the way to where I'm going. His disciple says, no, we don't know, Lord. Thomas said, we have no idea where you are going, so how can we know the way? Jesus told them, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one can come to the Father except through me. If you had really known me, you would know who my Father is. From now on, you do know Him and have seen Him. See, Jesus came and highlighted a path back to the Father. That's why He says you do know the way, because He had demonstrated the way. I think sometimes literally we have boiled Christianity down to saying a prayer to go to heaven, maybe even going through religious rites, all kind of different things. And Jesus explains that being his disciple means following him. It means doing what he did. This here's the book of John. Also in 1 John, John tells us that if we say that we are in God and God is in us, then we must live our lives as Jesus lived his life. And that if we don't, the truth isn't in us. So I'm going to keep reading. Jesus replied, "Have I been with you all this time, Philip, and yet you still don't know who I am? Anyone who has seen me has seen the Father. So why are you asking me to show him to you? Don't you believe that I am in the Father, and the Father is in me? The words I speak are not my own, but my Father who lives in me does his work through me. Just believe that I am in the Father, and the Father is in me, or at least believe because of the work you've seen me do. I tell you the truth, anyone who believes in me will do the same works I've done, and even greater works, because I'm going to be with the Father. You can ask for anything in my name, and I will do it, so that the Son can bring glory to the Father. Yes, ask me anything in my name, and I will do it." Jesus continues to say, "If you love me, obey my commandments. And I will ask the Father, and he will give you another advocate who will never leave you. He is the Holy Spirit who leads into all truth. The world cannot receive him because it isn't looking for him and doesn't recognize him, but you know him because he lives with you now and later will be in you. No, I will not abandon you as orphans. I will come to you. Soon the world will no longer see me, but you will see me. Since I live, you also will live. When I am raised to life again, you will know that I am in my Father, and you are in me, and I am in you. Those who accept my commandments and obey them are the ones who love me. And because they love me, my Father will love them, and I will love them and reveal myself to each of them. All who love me will do what I say. My Father will love them, and we will come and make our home with each of them. Anyone who doesn't love me will not obey me. And remember, my words are not my own. What I am telling you is from the Father who sent me. I am telling you these things now while I am still with you. But when the Father sends the Advocate as my representative, that is, the Holy Spirit, he will teach you everything and remind you of everything I have told you. I am leaving you with a gift, peace of mind and heart. And the peace I give is a gift the world cannot give. So don't be troubled or afraid. Remember what I told you. I'm going away, but I will come back to you again. If you really loved me, you would be happy that I'm going to the Father, who is greater than I am. I have told you these things before they happen, so when they do happen, you will believe. That right there is all I think we ought to read today. Within that is the promise that the Holy Spirit will come and abide in us, make his home with us, lead us and teach us, bring us into all truth, and remind us of everything that Jesus had said. He also tells us that he's going away to prepare a place for us, that where he is, we will be also. But that the markers of those who will be with him are those who obey him. And this is repeated throughout the Gospels. It's repeated by the apostles later in their letters. Jesus in another place says, there will be those who say to me, Lord, Lord. And he'll tell them, I don't know you, you who continue to break my commandments, who wouldn't obey me. And those are people who said, we cast out demons in your name. We did this in your name. We did that in your name. These are people who are proclaiming Christ, but wouldn't obey his commandments. Um, Christianity really is simple. It's just about following Jesus, abiding in him. There's another promise over in chapter 15. He says, abide in me and I will abide in you. You know, he talks about Judas here. Judas was called, but Judas turned his back on the Lord. Judas was looking for someone to make Israel great again. He was looking for a political leader, a military leader. He wanted their country to be great. He wanted taxes to be lower. He wanted more freedoms, less oppression. I hear that in movements in our country right now. But the truth of the matter is the Lord's given us promises to be a free and prosperous people if we would obey him. When the majority of a country becomes good, things tilt in a good way. And there's all kind of promises from the Lord that he made towards the people of Israel that could be applied to us. And you can see in our past that they were applied to us. But then there's also promises that if we as a people turn our back on God, this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing will happen, that our borders will become open, that foreigners will come in and take all the good stuff that we had for ourselves that's been given over to them, that our enemies will have power over us. That, you know, there's a lot of things that I see it happening right now, and we're not going to vote our way out of this. You can put whatever sign you want in your front yard. You know, every time the apostles started asking Jesus about those questions about, you know, when will you free us from the Romans, he kind of always deflected them back to him, to following him. Why? Because his concern is your personal development. Now, when there's enough personal development in a country, the nation will prosper. I'm telling you, your only focus should be your personal development into that of Christ. Everything else takes care of itself. You can't do it backwards. You can't make a country great again by voting in somebody. Go back and just study the books of 1 Kings, 2 Kings, all of these, and you'll see how all of these kings were a reflection of a people who were hard-headed, stiff-necked, refused to follow the Lord. Now, there was always a contingent, a small one, of people who were faithful to God. But it wasn't enough that the country benefited to the degree that it should have. And had the Lord not allowed things to be tough, even fewer would have turned to the Lord. Because I'll be honest with you, when things are good, we all tend to forget about him. But when things are tough, it pushes us back into the lap of the Lord, and he needs us there because we don't have a chance without that. It's for our own good. Look, I love you guys. Y'all take it easy. Have a good day. Say a little prayer for me. I get super nervous talking in front of folks, but no matter how nervous I get, I would love a lot of people just to come and hear what Jesus did for me, how he changed me into a different man, how I'm not the man that I was, and how we need to pay attention to the many victories we've had sometimes instead of staring at the one giant that seems too big to conquer. Jesus didn't bring us this far just to drop the ball. I love you, man. Bye-bye.